All right, we're out here at 522 West Ninth Street, Mr. Terry's house. We're going to be doing a repair and brittleness test. We've been asked to show the repairability of these shingles and if that's even a possibility for us on this claim by our estimating department. We've seen this often enough to where we're hesitant to do these repairs because we feel like, we're just going to cause more damage on this roof. We're here to test that out today and see if that is the case and give y'all a representation of that as well. So we're going to start right here. You can see our corners off on this wind crease shingle. That's going to be our repair. This is our control area right here. It's the southeast facing slope, the front. We've had, a commitment for repairs on this slope for these damages, but we're going to get into this test. We're going to start by unadhering. This one's already unadhered because of these creases. We're going to need to do the same on the shingles above so that we can get this shingle up, out, and put a new one up underneath. So we're going to start with. So I know we're just getting started, but the first thing I want to point out is just in order to get these shingles up, there is some scrapes that are going to happen on this shingle and this one as well. This shingle will be staying up here, so just keep that in mind as we're doing this process, that these granules are slowly just getting knocked off by this pry bar. Even though it's flat and smooth, it still is going to cause some effects because of the age and brittleness of these shingles. So another thing, I'm gonna take the camera just to show y'all real quick. As I'm lifting this corner, this shingle, just barely touching it with this tab right here, this dragon's tooth, but just from that lifting motion, it caused that fresh tear right here. Hardly lifting it. So that type of stuff shouldn't be happening. That just shows you another example of how brittle and aged these shingles are. But let's continue. Another slight rip right there. I mean, it shouldn't catch and tear that easily. We put this new shingle we're gonna put up here. I think would have given me some pushback. It wouldn't have just gone straight through. I'm not giving this thing too much force right here on these. However, it still is going to cause some tears on the leading edge of the shingle and affect its water shedding ability. And we're not here replacing this one because this shingle wasn't previously showing wind damage, but now because we have to repair this one shingle, that is the case. And keep in mind, this is the most careful repair that you'll see done. Our crews, our roofers don't come up here and try and be super careful and super, touchy on these roofs. They just are here to get a job done and get these repairs done. They're not expecting to have to account for the repairability of these shingles and, the materials we've been provided for in that estimate aren't going to be enough to account for the waste and the further damage we cause. So I'd like to point that out as well. Now we're going to take these nails. Oh, another thing in that getting this shingle up, another tear is caused to the laminate on this shingle. This whole top laminated side has been torn completely. Just not things that happen typically on repairs when you're working with a shingle that can sustain those motions. Also, as we're taking these nails out, we just saw that it's gonna be hard to put on the camera. These holes, they're gonna blow through on some of these nails. They're gonna tear right through where that head is, and that's another spot where it just becomes a water penetration point on any shingle we're leaving up here. It's not, ethically, that's not what we wanna do when we come out here and tell these homeowners that they're gonna get a functional renovation, whether it be repairs, replacement. If you do it wrong, it doesn't work. There's a reason people who do things wrong go out of business. work this nail through so we can remove the shingle. Unfortunately, like I said, we're gonna have some of those, but we're doing what needs to be done. So first row's out, but underneath this second row, we're still gonna have to remove some nails because it is into the top side of this shingle, holding it onto the roof still. So we're gonna unsecure that as well. Another thing, as I'm working these nails, there is a couple spots where these teeth kind of hitting the granules on this roof. So even underneath, there's a couple new spots of damage on this roof. So we're not just looking above, but we're also looking below down here. We've probably affected 3-4 shingles already in this one repair. I just don't see the point in causing 4 damaged shingles to fix 1 damaged shingle. We're moving backwards if we're doing that for these big guys out here. Another blow through right there. Like I said, I don't want to bend these shingles too far back to show y'all these blow throughs, but yeah, there's a good bit of them, just to avoid, you know, putting that shingle past a reasonable angle to do these. I'm not going to be able to get that on camera. All right, so there's your shingle. Here's a good example of these blow throughs I'm talking about. Right here, that's a pretty significant sized hole where that nail head has just forced its way through the brittleness of these shingles while we're pulling them up. If we left these shingles up there, even if we put the nail right back through that hole, and we are leaving a couple of these shingles that we took nails out of, but even if we nail through that hole, that's not a tight seal anymore. That's gonna, if water finds a way through that nail, which usually it does, it's gonna leak down even farther than just the surface level of this roof. But that's one of the reasons we're showing y'all this, so that we can have this stuff accounted for properly. So our next step is gonna be sliding this new laminated architectural shingle back into place. And basically just reversing that process, getting these nails back in the roof. We're already starting to see some signs of creases as well as all the other damages we mentioned. So it's not looking too great so far, but we'll keep going and see what it looks like at the end. We do have a slightly different color on this black shingle right here. It's going to be easy to identify that this is the shingle we repaired, so we don't have any trouble as far as identifying which one of these was the new shingle. We'll go ahead and start putting these nails back in. We're gonna have to, we're on about a 7/12 here, maybe 8, so we're gonna have to, you know, work a little bit higher on this shingle so that we can get the right angle, so we're not hammering the leading edge of this shingle, but we are working on a slope here, so it's a little bit of a challenge to do this thing without pushing the shingles up a little farther at an angle than you could on like a 4/12. trouble there. So just barely nicked that leading edge right here with the hammer, but I want to show y'all what happened because of the brittleness on these shingles. This leading edge right here is now damaged. It's not going to be able to shed water properly, and any of those nail holes right here, literally right under that chip, are going to be exposed to the elements. Really hate to leave stuff like that up on a roof, especially with a paying policyholder, worried customer. We want to make sure that they're taken care of, so we're trying not to leave things like this up here any longer than we have to. This one's gonna be the hard one right here. A tiny little nick there on that leading edge, just trying to get up under here to do these necessary repairs. I mean, starting to tear right here, just trying to get up underneath to get that nail in. Nail's almost not even driven in far enough. Yep. I mean, shingles that aren't brittle, shingles that are repairable, they don't tear that easily just doing these simple motions right here. I mean, you can see that's not ripping, that's not tearing, that's not creasing. That's a new shingle. That's a repairable shingle. The rest of these, not so much. All right. So, all those damages, we're going to get some pictures of as well, but based off of what we can see and what we're showing y'all here, it's pretty obvious that the shingles on this roof are not repairable. That's not going to be the proper way to address the damages up here that we faced after that storm. But we'll let y'all have a look at it, and we look forward to hearing what y'all think. But let's try and do right by Mr. Terry here and do the right fix. But we appreciate y'all reviewing all this, and we'll look forward to talking to y'all.